What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes always deliver the big names. Today we get to talk to one of the former champions in the PFL. He took down the 2023 regular season. He is the light heavyweight champion, and now he's back 2-0 so far this season as he pretty much, I guess you could say, maybe defends his title. I don't know. I just remember him wearing the strap last year after an awesome season, and he's taking on a fighter who he beat in the finals last year. So what's your confidence like, Impa? I know you're probably going to say some respectful things about Josh Silveira, but there has to be something said for the fact that you've been locked up with this guy before, in a big fight, and you've come out on top.
Listen, my faith and my confidence, they're dialed in. I know what I'm here to do. Here to claim victory. I respect Josh, like I said, yeah, for sure. Nothing disrespectful to say about the guy. I say this, last year I missed the hunt. I know Josh is better than he was last year, and so am I. I'm going to show that I'm going to dominate. How I look at it is I have a job to do, have to go finish that. And no matter if I fought the guy 10 times, if I got to fight the guy, what's it called, twice or once or never before, my focus is dominate, claim this victory, move forward, and finish this guy. And that's it.
This is a home game for you. This takes place on August 16th in Hollywood, Florida. So no travel, no passports, nothing like that. Do you even sleep in the fighter hotel, or do you just do everything at home? You're still with Killcliff, right?
Yes, sir. I'm still with
Okay.
Killcliff, and I tried my gym too. Impers refined me with Dieter, but I always kind of stayed at Airbnb. Well, I was at Westgate, and then I work with them, so I was at the hotel in Vegas, in and out on the Vegas fight week. But I like to stay in my own space, and this time I'll probably stay to myself a lot throughout the fight week and pop in at the fighter hotel, depending on how much media and obligations that I have. But it doesn't matter if the fight's here or in Alaska. I always isolate myself specifically on fight week.
You're on big ESPN channel 206 for me on DirecTV. I don't know what you all might have for your local cable and satellite, but this is a channel where if you're at an airport, the fight's playing. A sports book, the fight's playing. A sports bar or whatever. Talk about that. Like I'm sure you have fans wherever you've lived in the past. I'm sure you have relatives as well that get to watch the fight. Have they
Mhm.
all been telling you how they're all going to get together and support you, especially after that
Yeah.
epic run last year?
I appreciate you. Yeah, I have a lot of people say they're gonna support and watch this fight. They're pretty excited about it. And friends from here stateside, people internationally, family internationally. It's always an honor. Like when you think about it as you're a kid, and I didn't grow up playing sports. Like I got a one season of hockey, and then when I was in senior in high school, I started playing football, played in college. But every time you needed to watch something, check ESPN first, check this channel first, or check the streaming app, ESPN Plus, to watch whatever event. And to be featured as a main event on that card as an athlete, as a guy who started training when he was 24 years old, as a guy who is part of a really critical time in MMA. But it's not just the monopoly of the UFC. It's not just Bellator. It's not just this. It's not just one chip. It's PFL, and when they're taking main stream time, they're taking like prime hours on TV, and the fact that I get to be a part of that, man, I'm grateful. I get to share that moment. It's not everything to me, but it is one of those cool things where I can say, man, the body of work, the work that we've been putting in, those days sitting in the gym till 1 a.m., not hanging out with the crowd of guys who just choose to live like losers, the people like, you can take all that time and just say, it's worth it. To have a gym, to have ESPN come to the gym, to uh, feature it on how do you say, as the gym's grand opening, which Joanne has definitely been super hopeful behind. Like all the pieces of the puzzle are coming together. To me, it's more of a challenge. Like this is one, McClaim this victory, and be like, man, this guy needs to be the main event forever. This guy needs to be on every featured card, the pay per views, this, because I prayed for these moments, but this is part of what I prayed for. This is like stage one. It's not even scratching the surface of what I believe will happen is to come. So I'm grateful, and it just shows that we're going in the right direction.
Impa, did anything surprise you about him in the first fight? And does this feel like almost like maybe a continuation of the first fight, or does it actually feel very different for you?
Nothing surprised me. I know Josh is a solid fighter. There's certain things he did well, in his grappling exchanges and his striking. I know he's going to be better. I expect him to be better at least. I expect him to be a better fighter, and I know that I am too. I don't see it's continuation of the last fight, and more so I consider it to continuation of the same hunt. Like last year, I missed the hunt. He's wounded, he's hurt, I beat him up, all those good things. We claimed the victory. I didn't finish him. This year, I get the finish. This year, I claim that victory. And this year, I move forward with my team, and it's the third finish in a row this year, and we're gonna go finish and get the finish in the title fight. So that's all it is. Like I don't look at it as like a rematch. Like I get it because like on paper, I get it because of you fight the same guy again, so I get the definition or it's like the denotation of it. But like for me, like it's a whole new day. Like that first fight may as well have not even happened. Like I don't try to live off of that. I burn the ships. I don't live off the victories of the past. All I know is that the next victory is one I'm going to claim. So everything, all the goodness of it, all the blessings that came from it, they're all awesome, and I'm definitely benefited from those. But I look at this as a new fight, clean slate, and I'm gonna take him out.
George, how many episodes are we on? What numbers are we coming on?
3,484.
All right, mark this episode down, Impa. I got goosebumps when you said continuation of the hunt. And I cannot remember a time when that's happened in all these episodes. So you got me
Appreciate,
fired up, man. Um,
appreciate you.
I, I do want to ask you this. Look, you're familiar with the smart cage. You're familiar with the environment. You're familiar with the fighters, the PFL. When you step in there into that cage, how much of it is just an automatic feeling of knowing you're there, being prepared, and then how much of it is possibly, a lot of us don't really take in consideration that you guys are human beings, you get nervous. Can you talk a little bit about those feelings once you step into the cage?
Yeah, for me, it's like I don't get nervous for fights. It's like a peaceful feeling. I know it's my home. I know it's where I'm meant to be. People like it's funny talk about like people say rematch. I'm like I don't. No, it's like it says it's a continuation of the hunt. People say, "Oh, you're a champion, so the target's on your back." I'm like, no, like everybody's my target. Everybody's the thing that I want to hunt down. Like it doesn't matter light, heavyweight, middleweight, heavyweight. You can make it down to welterweight again. Do that. Like I look at it as when I step in that cage, I know I'm home. I know how many steps it takes to get to the center. I know the slippery parts of the cage. I know the way the cage feels. I know where Cooper's taking pictures from up top. I know where Matt's taking pictures from on the outside. I can tell you right where Eduardo's sitting, Ray Sefo. You see all the commentators. I know about how many seats are around the cage. I know when I pray here, I'm gonna step here. It depends what kind of auditorium you're in, where the lights are gonna be. Like every bit of it. So I look at it like this: like for somebody to try to come into your house and take what's yours, and the power went out, or they cut the power line. I know exactly where my gun is. I don't need to understand. I don't need to feel for it. I don't need to run around. And you know where your family's rooms are. You know where your kids' rooms are. You know where your dog is. And when that person steps in there, there's only one way out for them. And it's that golden bridge to retreat on. You take them out. And that's how I look at the cage. Like I've been in there mentally, spiritually, physically. I've prayed myself in there. I've walked in there. I've done the steps. I've done my meditation. The fact that I know exactly where I am in that cage at all times. Or my trainers, I know what voice to listen for. Um, and people, like they see the fight like, oh, they're humans. Yeah, we are. And we're humans who get to do something that's maybe extraordinary to some. I think fighters get too upset, like, oh, you guys don't care about me and my heart and my feelings. Like, bro, we chose to step in there, you know. And I look at it like this is a peaceful place for me. This is my home. Like, nobody's gonna come to my home and make me feel like it's not my home. Like, I'm gonna put my feet on the table. I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna stand on the table if I want to, but I always look at it like this is my home. So when I go in that cage, or like when I step in that smart cage, or when the cage door locks, or when I hug my coaches or walk down my flag, sing my worship song, I already know like everything's in line for why I'm supposed to be there, and that's it. So, um, some people I think, get nervous because they don't prepare themselves mentally, physically, spiritually to be in there. Some put the pressure on themselves like succeeding, and they seek validation from other things. I seek validation from nothing but God, and the ones that I love that I really would take into consideration. My God loves me, my family loves me. I know everything I'm gonna do in that cage, I'm gonna be there. I'm free. So I embrace that. I own that moment. So that's what you always see me. Like I always pray before I get in the cage. I give it to God, and you see me like if you watch a fight, I wipe the cage floor 3 times. I tap it 3 times and I say, God, this is yours. I declare that's his land, and I get to go there and I step in there and get to claim this victory. I always tell myself, how would I fight if I was leading heaven's armies? And that's fearlessly, that's faithfully, that's intelligently, that's relentlessly, that's passionately. And whoever's in that cage, I don't care. Like Jacob Nadeau, last fight was a solid fighter, big guy. I knew he's a champion, all this stuff like that, but there's no way coming in my house taking what's mine. And that's what I look at it like, yeah, I'm champion. Oh, you have the target on your back. No, if you're coming to try to hunt me down, I already seen you. I know that landscape. I know that safari. I know that plane. Like that for me is like I know every inch of it. And when you step in there, you're actually the one who's always being hunted. Well, that's how I look at every single opponent. And it's like I take them out, I respect them, I move forward. And I had a rugby coach say once, the best way to respect your opponent is to beat them as badly as they need to be beaten by. And I look at it that way. Like I'm gonna take whoever out.
Man, I like that quote.
You know,
Yeah.
Every time I play my nieces and nephews in ping pong, I try and smoke them. No mercy, man.
take them
Hey,
out.
yep, exactly. Teach them a lesson. Who meets you in the finals? Duvlay? You think he gets it done, uh, or geez, I'm
Rob
blanking on his
Wilkinson.
opponent, Rob Wilkinson. Yeah, we just had him on the show. Sorry. Do you think he gets it done?
I whoever. I think that I want the best one. I want the best one. I think that Rob presents challenges where, he pushes the pace, he gets after people, tries to bully people. He's smart, he's coached well, and he's a tank of he's a tank of a fighter in person. He can definitely bring it. Uh,
He wants you, by the way, because we asked him the same
he does.
question. He'd rather fight you. He felt like it'd be great to have the last two champions meet up, and I thought that was a respectable answer. Not going for, I don't want to say the easier opponent, but just the more accoladed opponent, which is you. You've won a title like he has.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I respect it. I like fighter to fighter. I like Rob as a fighter. I know that he had his troubles last season. He didn't get a fight. I mean, that was people make poor decisions more so than mistakes. That doesn't take from him being a really good fighter, though, to me. And he's fought some of the better fighters in the world and in history. Duvlay, I mean, or if I'm saying if his name properly, respect to him. I mean, he's good. He's new. He's a new being to hunt. Like that's all it is to me. So whoever's better, right? I've seen both their fights from the Salt Lake City fights. I've seen many of their fights and Josh's fights. Like, I don't think people come with the same standard always. For me, my standard is always finish. Some guys I think are just trying to get by and survive. To say like as a champion, I was more so disappointed in how the other light heavyweights fought. Like guys didn't fight to finish; they fought just to stay in. I don't think people have the same standard. So um, it doesn't matter who it is. I'll fight both guys in the same night. But I look at it like my standards get the finish, claim the victory. Whereas I noticed in the first round of the all of this in Vegas, guys went for the finish and all that stuff. Then people are comfortable, and it says a lot about the person and what they are. Just win to get in. Like forget the $1 million, forget the titles, forget all that stuff. Like there's another man in there that gets to be locked in there with me, and I get to take him out. So if Rob wants me, we could fight in the cage, we can fight at the gym, we can fight anywhere. But I really think they should just focus on their fights and say they'll be ready. Because I don't care if it was Josh again in the final, if it was Rob, if it was Johnny Eblin, if it was Alex Polizzi again. All I know is that my job is to be in that title fight. When I'm in that title fight, to finish my job, I claim that victory. My stand is go get that finish, claim that victory, move my hands forward and move on to the next one. Whoever it is irrelevant to me. And like I just want the best guy. So they both didn't really show all that they could be. My challenge for them is to show what they really are in in this fight because their last Um, their last fights were disappointing for the fighters that they could be. And I think that sometimes we pull back because people are scared insults of them. I'm not saying that as a trash talk, but I'm saying it as a way to encourage. Like, I want to see the best guy in that cage. Like, what's the point of doing this if you're not going to fight the best guys? So whether it's the former champ from before, for me, I'm always champion. Every single fight for me is a title fight. Every single fight for me is the one. It's not. I look forward 20 fights. I look back 5 or 1 fight. That's it. So I would like Rob and Devlay to come back and just be as strong as they possibly could be, and then carry that into the final. And then when I take them out, all due respect, and God is great and God bless him.
You brought up Eblin's name. Do you want to run that back with him at some point?
It'd be an honor, yeah. I know I won that fight. I know that there was whatever was on the judges that day or whatnot. He dropped a guy twice in the fight, hurt him, and he pushed the pace. The mistakes I made in the fight that he definitely capitalized on because he's a good fighter, and he took advantage of certain parts of the fight based on the skill set and the great coaching that he has. For me, it's not even getting that fight back. That fight is that day is behind it. That hunt is gone. This will be a whole new one. So yes, I'd love to fight Johnny Eblin, the opponent, again. This will be a whole different experience this next time.
Thank you for the time as always, champ. Great to talk to you. Go out there and do your thing on the 16th in Hollywood, Florida. It's going to be on ESPN, folks. That main card that includes Impa Kasanganay against Josh Silveira, Rob Wilkinson versus Dublé Yagzimuradov. I think I got that right. So the light heavyweights all on display. You'll know who's going to be in the finals because they'll walk them into the cage afterwards. The main card goes down at 9 p.m. Eastern. Check it out. Thanks, Impa. Take care, man.
Thank you so much. God bless.